Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Club. Good morning, Mark. Morning, Victor.
How you doing?
Good. All right. Well, look, I hope everybody had a good day, and we'll just get started here. We are at the beginning of the week. We are at the very special day of the year called Friday the 13th. So let's make it a lucky day. That means work hard. That's how you get lucky. You work hard. Look, let's talk about the issue here of getting started, moving ahead, what you need to do. Marketing is what you do to get your information in front of people. And if you noticed, I sent out the notice that said, you know, listening to a record over and over again, unless you really like that record, you know, it can get a little boring, just hearing the same thing over and over again. I kind of like doing that once in a while, depending on the song, and I listen to it, and it gets in my head all day, kind of how you learn the song. But having a marketing plan is like having a record. You're going to say the same thing. In other words, you're going to have a theme, and that theme in our business is, we'd like to speak with you. That's our theme. If you notice in all of our marketing campaigns, it always says, we'd like to speak with you, which means you have to learn how to speak. And we want to speak to you about managing a business from home. In other words, we have a business to show you, and we want to tell you about it. You can't rely on one source of telling. In other words, you can't just rely on emails. You have to learn how to talk to them. And being a cold market guy myself, I like to pick up the phone, whether they got something from me or not. I like to pick up the phone and say, it's Joe Shoop, the reason I called you is this. Whether it's they got something and they opened it and responded, or they didn't. A name that just out of the blue, I give them a call and find out. And then my reason for calling is to send them information. If they've already seen it and filled it out, my reason for calling is to answer a few questions, get a few questions answered for me, and move them to a director. That's the reason I'm calling, is to get them over there now. So that's what changed in the process. So there's two ways. You could cold market call people. You can send them an email, wait for them to respond. You can use social media. Which means Facebook, LinkedIn. A lot of people do that. Learning how to do that is one of the tools that you need to use. You at least need to have 2 to 3 avenues to go down, to visit, to find that interested party. That's what you need to do. You need to have a few of those. If you're good at one and that keeps working, well, maybe one works for you. I think in today's world, Mark, we're talking about having a couple of ways to do it. If you're not happy and can't pick up and make a phone call from a list or people you have, or in a spreadsheet, then you've got to find another way to advertise. What we're discovering is the presentation is really a good tool for advertising in an advertising format, maybe even a banner ad, or running ads in various places. I'm not recommending USA Today, which probably would work, but there's a lot of places that you can drop ads. Company under major expansion. Looking for honest, ambitious people. Call Mark. That kind of ad. When they call, or you can say, visit our company overview. We'll discuss the possibilities. And have them go to the website, which is the business presentation. I mean, you can send them anywhere you want. But the idea is to make sure that you are utilizing all the tools necessary. So let me show you For those of you not familiar with this, let me show you. Mark, let's check the chat box and see if anybody has any questions. I got it open private and public. I didn't know if we had anything on there.
Nothing yet.
I'm going to screen share right now, Mark. I want to make sure that and click share. We're going to see that now, probably. There it goes. But now I know how to operate that. So let's switch over to here. Let me know if you see my screen, Mark.
I see it now.
Which one do you see?
Friends and family.
All right, good. All right, look. We have 3 different websites. Mark, tell me how fast this changes. Here's the other one.
Quickly.
Here's the other one.
Quickly.
Now, we have a bunch of websites. These are the websites in the ToolsRock marketing system. These are the websites that you would send somebody to. If you didn't even use their autoresponder, for $20 a month, you get to use all 3 of these in any campaign you like. You get to send it out in an email. You can send it out as an ad. You know, you could place ads, or you could put the information on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you could even tweet information about this. But these are the 3 main websites that we use to find the interested parties. However, there are autoresponders set up so that when you put names of people into the autoresponder and push a button, they automatically send a series of letters attached to these 3 websites. The letters are not exactly, in some cases, they, you know, the 12-week plan and the AdTech Worldwide, they're pretty much the same. But the theme of it all is we want to speak to you about managing a business with our company. Why? Because we should be spending 90% of our time looking for people who want to be partners with us and manage a business and learn how to do it. Which means they have to learn how to market. So, the first place we can send them is right here. This is an opening page. Now, this can be used for marketing to people you don't know. It was generally designed for people that you know, or to show business people a website where we send people to. We all know what this looks like. I'm not going to play it. There's a 3-minute message here telling people what business you're in, why you're excited. It talks about gold. And then it asks them, is this making sense to you? Are you open to learn more? If so, let me share more information with you. Enter your information below, right? So you get an opportunity. They get an opportunity to fill this out and move forward. And if they did, I think this is it. I think that's where this goes. We'll find out. Yeah. This is a valuable, valuable, valuable page right here. It has a twofold purpose here. This page gives the consumer, the prospect's information. And it has 4 or 5 different tabs up here. We're on the home page right now, and that page goes, this video plays automatically, which is, you know, a video about the company, about gold, about a new company, us, that's providing small increments of gold for people. It's a great little video, but I wouldn't show it to them unless they looked at the front end and then came back through here. Now, there's testimonials all over here. They'll just flash all over here. Now, the next page is in here. This is the page, well, one of the pages I really like. If someone asks you about gold, this is great for the affiliate, your business. When somebody asks you about it, again, we have the answers we teach you in the class. But if someone said, well, let me ask you a question about LBMA, I saw that. What is that really? You can't say, I can't tell you, I'll wait till you get over to a directory. You can have a little smarts about it. And if you were on this page, or even if you were over on another page, you could quickly come back here if you didn't have this memorized and say, well, you know, it's the London Bullion Market Association. The ongoing work of the of the association covers a number of areas, among refining and standards and so on. But Frank, let me ask you, would Wednesday be good? Or Frank, hold on for a second. Let me get a director to answer the rest of these questions for you. But you would look professional by understanding this stuff. And if you were on this page, you wouldn't get stumped. Hey, I really didn't understand what bullion means. What is that? I hear him keep talking about that. There it is. Is it the same gold? If anybody asked anything about, well, what's the difference between your gold and something else? Know your gold. Not all gold is created equal. You'd be able to pull a sentence or two out of here and then move them to your objective, which is either, get them more information or send them to a director. And then if you look on it, how it works, well, are you making money? How does this work? Or how do I get the gold? Do I actually get it in my hands? You can explain that by going to this page. They ask you about income. We get paid in direct proportion to the effort we put forth. Well, I'd really like to know about great. And you say a couple of these lines on here. 7 streams of monthly income. You know, commissions are loaded on a card each week. But Frank, let me ask you, have you ever had a successful business room? You don't have to read the whole thing. You just grab a couple of pieces of information. Mark, this is the most valuable page we have in our arsenal, in my opinion. These 4 columns. Tell me more about Karatbar. Sure, I'd love to do that for you. And you talk about it through here, a couple sentences, move them to the objective. I think this is the most powerful piece we own, Mark.
Yes, I agree, definitely.
That's because it's the tool to help people. You know, most people, if they're not familiar with and practicing and been to the class and learning the steps, learning the objective, learning who you are, and learning the answers, the questions and answers that could come up, learning what a director does, how to pass it off to a director. If you don't know that, you know, you're stuck. But if you've been through that, then you realize the value of this. So that's just one of the websites. This is one of the sites you should be using, whether you know them or not. Whether you've sent them to the front end or not doesn't matter. But you should have this page and this website up so you don't get stuck. You're not fumbling for papers. You're pushing buttons to get answers, or at least to give you a guideline to the answers. Now, the next one is the one we created for people to go in and look at a business. For 35 minutes, we tell them how to secure their future, what happened in the past, what happened to the baby boomers, the millennials, Generation X? What's going on with them? And why we should take a look at straightening out our finances, because very few people get out to retirement and have anything left. This presentation tells them that. I think this is great, as Jennifer told us. This is great for business people to see this entire thing. There's no place in here where you're going to be able to go like you can with the Friends and Family page 2. So I would have page 2 up so you could immediately, if somebody asks a question, click back, right? No matter where you are. But this is a great website. I think more designed, Mark, for people business people. Not normally. We did this, we sent it out to thousands of people, and I think it's just no one has to fill this out until they get to the very end. What I am finding out, Mark, in my new campaign that I'm running is that we have the next site. So this is a business site. This is your Friends and Family site, which also you should be using for your own education. Mark says he watches this all the time, this presentation here, to pick up more. You should be doing that as well. And then we have the 12-week plan, which is adtechgold.com. And this one is basically from an affiliate's perspective what this business is all about. He explains the entire thing for about 3 minutes, and then fill it out if you want to know more, just like Friends and Family. The other one, they don't have to fill it out till they get to the end. And truthfully, I think that one's more entertaining and educational than the other one. This one's more about opportunity. Join us. Let me show you. You got 3 to 5 hours a week? And again, testimonials here. And again, you can go on the inside of this, and I think called inside.html, and go there and have, but that's not for your education when you go there. They're just websites and, videos and so on to follow. These are the 3 places we send people. So I want that to be clear in the ToolsRock system and differentiate between this, the categories, and the autoresponders. If you just had these 3 websites, then you wouldn't have to use anything else. You just decide which one you're going to send. Now, you certainly have to have other means to finding people, other avenues to travel down. And that's where the categories come in the ToolsRock system, labeling the categories of people and keeping track of what you sent to those people. And it breaks it down for you. That's why they call it a contact manager. It's designed for you to manage your business, keep track of the groups of people and what information you sent to them. That system does it all. So when it comes to marketing, whether it's through Facebook, I am not an expert on that. I don't know how to do that effectively, let's put it that way. So I rely on phone calls, I rely on emails. And I think emails are not as effective as they used to be. I think people aren't reading them as much. I think people are going to social media and looking at ads. But don't make your ad too long and writing a lot of texts. Remember what your theme is. We want to speak to you about managing a business from home with our company. Go to this website and then we'll talk. Or, you've already been there, so now let's move you to a director and see if we can take another step. That's the way that is handled. So I wanted to remind everybody to map out your plan. To whom are you going to send one of these 3 websites to? That's what you should be breaking down. If you haven't done that and you say, well, I don't use Facebook and I don't make cold calls, so I'm only relying on emails, you need to change your game plan. You need at least 2, and I say 3 avenues to go down to find those people. There's other ways to do it. I mean, in the old days, Mark, people put ads up on the bulletin boards on every supermarket in their town. I still think you can do that. I wouldn't put flyers on cars. You're not allowed to do that. But I see no reason, if you frequent a store and you see a nice bulletin board where they say, hey, put stuff up here, I say, don't handwrite it, but put a nice little ad. Company expanding, looking for honest, ambitious people. Call Jack and put your phone number. Maybe even put the website, visit my website. Visit our company overview. That would even be better. You don't know. You might pick up somebody in there who's frustrated, walking around, just lost their job, looking for something else. I say, Mark, that anybody, this is my opinion, and I base it on my own experience, anybody, if they learned the dialogue, if they learned the objective of every phone call, if they learned who they were making the phone call, could very easily get a list of people. I don't care where they got it from. I don't care if they got it from the phone book, from a public list. I don't care where they got it from. I say you could still build a business by making those phone calls. I know real estate and insurance people still do this. They comb the neighborhoods. They don't rely just on a letter or a postcard, which again is another effective way to find people. But if none of that were available, I say you could still build a business by picking up the phone and dialing every phone number you could. You don't even know who they are, except maybe you have their first name or last name. In other words, you could, if they didn't have a no-call list, out of a phone book, call people and identify or introduce yourself and ask one quick question. And here's how that phone call would go. Now, again, if we didn't have any of this other stuff, I would do this in a heartbeat. And I still think it's extremely effective because all you're doing is numbers. That's what they meant by a numbers game. That's what the real estate and insurance people do. Hi, Mark. It's Joe Shoup giving you a quick call from Arizona. How are you? Mark, the reason I called you is, and now, you can say one of two things. Let's just use this one now. Our company is under a major expansion. We are looking for good qualified people. Let me ask you a quick question, Mark. Would you be interested in a career change if the money were right? That takes about 20 seconds to do, and you'll get a yes or a no. And if they say yes, you say great. As I said, we're under a major expansion. What I need to do is send you some information. We'll get back together again and see if we're on the same page. If we are, we'll try to take another step. Is that fair enough? I'm going to send this over. Here's my email address so you know when it comes, if it's coming from me. Or here's my name, my full name. You'll know it's coming from me. It'll say from Joe Shoup. I'm going to send it over. You look at the first 3 minutes of our company overview, and we'll get back together again and see if we have a match. If we do, we'll move forward. So what I need to do is get your email address. I'll shoot it over to you. You'll have it within a couple of minutes. After that, you set an appointment. You never get off the phone without setting the appointment. Mark, I promise you that I could take a handful of brand new people who never picked up the phone, put them in the class for 2 days, and a week later I could have these people, if nothing else was available, pick up the phone off a list of people and just call, and I guarantee you each person would find one new person a month, registered with Karatbars, and bought a package within 30 days. I would challenge anybody to challenge that with me. I know we could do it. No, that tells me, yes, there are easier ways to do it. Yes, there are more efficient ways to do it. Email system, probably, maybe you'd find them a little faster.
Well, Joe, the reason that's one of the best ways to do it, because what it does, it gives you long-term building and permanent building.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It virtually guarantees that you're going to build your organization for the long term, which is what we want. We don't want just a week, a day, a month, or a one-hit wonder. We want longevity, and we want somebody doing this system. That's the perfect system for it. If you're willing to do a little bit of work, that will work for you. No doubt in my mind.
Yep.
That has created $40,000 a month, and we're not hyping the money, but I'm just saying what we know. That has created $40,000 a month income for a number of people in this country, and it wasn't in this industry, and it wasn't with gold either.
Exactly.
Now the product that we have is such a phenomenal product that would make it even easier, because the majority of people in our country do not know they can own gold because they think they have to buy it by the ounce. And they think at $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, I don't have this kind of money. We have it all here. What you're going through right now, there it is right there. There's the dialogue right there if you have to get into that dialogue.
So for those of you that have been through the class, it's time to be thinking about your activity. Are you spending 90% of your time looking for, in search of a person who is honest, ambitious, and works well with others? Are you doing that? Evaluate that in the next day or two and find out. Or are you spending your time in education, continue to educate yourself, and kidding yourself? Because you're not going to grow by spending 60% of your time educating yourself. In the beginning, yes. Our process is you register with Karatbars, you register with Tools Rock, you take the class, We had some people yesterday, Mark, take the class. I love the reaction after the class. I mean, I just love the reaction to say, oh my gosh, oh my God, that was phenomenal. I never looked at it that way. I love hearing those words. And then hearing their stories. You know, Joe, when I was over here and I was with this company, you know, we did something similar too, and I've forgotten. And because, I mean, when you listen to the class, it's all logic. You know that. It's about thinking. And everybody knows when they hear it that it all makes sense. And it's just a matter of following it now. And this is the follow-up to the class, the marketing of it. Now that you know who you are, now that you know how to appropriately and properly find the interested party, move them, or find the reason you're calling them and move them either to a piece of information in a cold call or to a director where we can move them forward. Once you know that, it's just activity now. And in your spare time, you practice. I told them yesterday in this class what Bob Kuhn says. Make the recording and play it everywhere you go. Put it in your iPad. Put it in, listen to it all the time. Bob says, I couldn't, if I asked him questions, maybe he couldn't even answer them at this point. But he knows when he gets into dialogue, everything falls into place. I suspect that he could answer the questions anyway, because once you understand it, you know, it's all in your memory. And that's what I mean by memorize. Put it in your memory so that you can pull those answers up when people ask, just from your memory. And I'm excited because we have a couple more people today and some more people over the weekend. Mark taking the class, so I'm excited about that. We reduced the cost for people in the first 7 days of being with Karatbars, and we've grandfathered the other people in who didn't have a chance before to come in, so people are taking advantage of it. I'm excited for that. I'll be teaming up some people over the weekend, you know, getting them to practice together, work together, get to know each other, and you know, work. So my message today, Mark, is that we identify the markets we are in and what piece of information are we going to send them. And as a side note, learn, practice, learn the scripts. Learn your job. This is a job. I don't care what anybody says. This is a job. Because to me, I know that we use the acronym, the JOB, just over broke. I understand that. And I know that's kind of a, you know, a cliche here. Kind of a, you know, a joke in the industry, basically, about what that means. But the truth is, if you want to look at this logically, if you want to look at it actually, it's a job. I get up every day to go to work, Mark. That's the catch. And to tell people you only need a few hours and all you got to do is, you know, funnel people through and it'll all fall in place. We have an organization right now falling apart at the seams, breaking at the seams, because they did not educate their people. A very large group here in Karatbars falling apart because they didn't educate their people, a massive influx of people, and they said, just go out and email all this information out, and you'll build. Well, everybody got excited. There was a 12-week plan. There was the dual system. They were showing big, fast income, and everybody jumped on board. Who wouldn't? Run an ad on TV right now and say, hey, just come down to your supermarket and get an ounce of gold. You'd have the entire community fighting to get in line. And that's basically what was done.
That's like throwing it against the wall, hoping that it sticks.
We keep teaching on the concept of continued education. We have a call on item, the Breakfast Club, next week. A tip of the day, so to speak. Continued education. You don't leave college and stop. Doctors don't stop going to trainings and seminars. Doctors who teach doctors. Teachers have to continue with their education. In my opinion, it's a disgrace in this industry that companies do not have continued education with the right material, the right teachings. They have continued wrong teachings, and people continue to fall in the 97% of not making the income. We're teaching a group of people now exactly what we're talking about. And some of them are making cold phone calls like we just talked about, having great success. They don't care. They're not afraid of the phone anymore. So, tip of the day, learn what marketing really is. Learn the process. Diversify the avenues you travel on. Find groups in LinkedIn, Facebook, social media, so to speak. Not so to speak, to speak. Find an email system. Tools Rock, perfect. Use USA Leads, another company. There are avenues there where you will knock on the doors and find that one person a month minimum that you need to build this within a year. Teach those people to do it, and everything will be fine. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, Mark, and see if there's any questions that people have. See if I can get rid of all of these and take us back to here and to this, and whoops. Okay, did I stop sharing? I don't think so. Or did I?
I still see the green and the
oh, okay, I see it. You're screen sharing. Stop. Here
okay.
we go.
Here you go.
Here we go. So any questions we want to handle and before we go?
I don't see any yet. We'll give them a minute to put it in. But yeah, you were right about the JOB, the just over broke. Basically, it's a joke, but it has its own connotation. We can change that. We can change it to join our business, something even more positive.
Wow, I like that.
AdTech Worldwide Team. That's, JOB, not just over broke. No, join our business. Why? Because we'll educate you. We'll show you. We'll give you the system. We'll give you everything that you need to become successful and have a business from home. Join our business. JOB.
Mark, let me just say this one thing before I go, and that is that we talked about this, I guess, yesterday, and there are people, I was thrilled to, I met somebody in Karatbars recently here in Phoenix. I mean, he comes to the call, the Breakfast Club. I've known him for quite a while here, but didn't know that he lived in the area. And it was really interesting to, when you meet people in here like you and I have over the years, and all of a sudden they become a real person. And I also the other day had one of Wowie's people visit me a couple of times. Shirley, she's on here today, and I appreciated her coming by because I was able to help her with a few things. It was nice to be able to do that and spend a little time with her and Rudy, her husband. And what was real to me, the reason we were meeting was to help them with a few things, and doing it in person was much easier than doing it over the phone. But I realized through those couple of meetings that it takes more than one talk, it takes more than one visit through your website to understand it. It took me a long time, honestly. When I say a long time, it took me a month to figure out all the function in Tools Rock, all the functions back there, how they really worked. I didn't get the category and so on, and until I put my heart and soul into it and pulled it apart, and now I can teach it. How to set up those categories and the websites and unlocking them and so on. I know that office pretty well back there now. So if you have any problems back there, and you contact support and don't get a response, like quick enough, call me. I don't want to be bombarded with customer service, to be perfectly honest with you. Figure things out for yourself, because if you tell me I can't do this, and I realize you didn't have any categories in there, I'm going to tell you to go back to the office and go read that before we get back together again. So I just want to make sure if you're struggling with something, I don't want people out there for days in Tools Rock and not getting their answers. So I am available for that. I am not customer service, but I do know enough that maybe I can help. But back to the story of meeting the people, it was really a pleasure to spend some time, but it was also educational for me because I realized that just as when I started, people weren't understanding how that back office worked, how the categories were broken down, and why they were important. And I think we pretty much got that straight, right, Rudy and Shirley? You can chime in there, but I think pretty much we, by spending that time, we were able to get that done. But I had a really good lunch the other day with someone, again, in Carrot Bars that lives close by. I didn't know it all this time. I didn't know that we were almost neighbors. And he called me and wanted to get together and do something. And, so we sat with our computers outside of a Panera Bread, and it was phenomenal. Not only getting to know them and meet them in person, but to do some work outside, sitting out in the 80-degree weather. It was nice. So I got out of the house, Mark. I got out of the house.
Well, while we're on this, David would like to know, how do I find the class now that I am in Tools Rock?
I think if that's the David that I'm thinking of, do me a favor when you come in, people. Please put your last name in here so we know who you are. I think this is David that I'm working with. David, I think that's who it is, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, it is. You just have to call me, and we schedule the time. That's all you got to do. Call me, we schedule the time. You're in there, just call me up and say, hey, Joe, this is when I'd like to take the class, and we arrange that. And it could be today, could be tonight, could be tomorrow, whenever your schedule is freed up, and that's when you want to take the class. We arrange it, you do it. That's how you do it. You just call me. If you are, if you've been through this class and you want to take it again, now first of all, you see we've just reduced that price. You've already been through the class and you go, I really want to have a refresher. Call me. Just call me. I'll let you know when those other classes are going on and we'll make some arrangements. Just call me. So with that, Max Bondano, my boy, give me a call in about an hour, okay? Maybe so on. I have an appointment right after this call. I have a couple of calls. If I'm done early, I will call you. But if not, let's just give me a call in an hour from now. We'll go over some things together. And with that, I hope everybody has a great day. It's the beginning of the week. It's not the end of the week. It might be the end of the week as far as socially, and you may be having a Saturday and Sunday off and feel, but as far as getting to work, you should get prepared for Monday now. And that's by doing what we're talked about today. Identify what you're doing. Organize your campaigns. Organize what you are doing and get this information out here. Andrea, also, if you could give me a call in about an hour or so, Andrea Hanfus, that would be great. Just wanted to go over a few things with you, and have a wonderful day, everybody. Mark will talk in a few minutes, obviously, but just get to work. That's the key. That's the key to this whole thing. Get to work, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday at the Breakfast Club. This is Joe and Mark, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great day, everybody.
Peace and blessings, everyone.